Welcome everyone to The Howl. I'm Sophie Obril, and in this episode, I sat down with Sam Frye, Dani Esho, Jillian Szesko, and Madison Grabowski. In this episode, we focused on the spring play titled Game of Tiaras. We discussed characters, the show's storyline, and what the seniors will miss most once they leave. Thanks for joining, and we hope you enjoy. Hello everybody, and welcome back to The Howl. My name is Sophie Obril, and the producer of today's show is George Pascalis, and we are very excited to have Sam Frye, Dani Esho, Jillian Szesko, and Madison Grabowski here in the Dispatch Podcast studio, powered by Jets Pizza. Welcome everybody.
Hello, how's it going?
Our first question is, what is Game of Tiaras about?
Game of Tiaras is a mashup between Game of Thrones, King Lear, Disney princesses, and just Disney characters in general, from what I remember. What's it called? The point of it is that it's really ridiculous. It's King Lear's plotline, where the daughters are fighting for the kingdom, but it's in the form of Disney princesses. So that's kind of a nice way to make a lot of easy jokes and all that. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So is the plotline of those Disney princesses embedded into the show or not really?
Yes, it is embedded to the show. It's mainly embedded to the show for comedy purposes, but yeah, they are.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is one thing you guys think people should know going into the show?
Well, I think that for me personally, it was something that was nice to hear is as you said, it's based off King Lear, so it's kind of interesting to as an audience member go into it not really knowing the story, and it's a comedy and it's funny, so you should expect good jokes and really amazing acting, but you should also expect to maybe learn a little bit about the actual story of King Lear, and because down to his basic plot, it is exactly like King Lear.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to see if you have read King Lear, you can see where the story lines up with our story and how it mixes in with the other plot lines. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Okay. And then we're gonna go around and can everybody say the name of the character you guys play in the show? So Jilly, we'll start with you.
I play Little Mermaid.
I play Dwarf 2 and and Prince Charming.
Okay.
Oh.
I play Snow White.
I play the king.
Okay. So can you kind of explain what role your character plays in the show? How does it connect to the plot?
So my character, she comes later. She comes in Act 2, and she's basically the illegitimate daughter of the king. So she's trying to get her half sisters, she's fighting with them about who can get the kingdom, and she's using her water army, and so it's it really plays into the Little Mermaid aspect of it, and she has her princess servants, and she's just trying to take over the kingdom after being ignored for so long, so she's trying to gain justice for everything.
Yeah. Well, Prince Charming is the bigger out of the two roles that I mentioned, so he's the love interest for
For everybody.
Run it back. Okay. So Prince Charming is kind of the secret villain of the show. He starts off as the love interest for Cinderella, and I won't spoil too much of it, but he's kind of got his ulterior motives that he doesn't really reveal till later on. But he's kind of not a great person from the start. And then the dwarf is kind of just a funny gag in the beginning. There's two of us, and it's just kind of the character's made to move the plot forward, and we are with Snow White.
Snow
Nice.
White. Oh, thank you. Snow White basically kind of starts off half the show. She's entering this magical kingdom of all these princesses, and she gets to meet all these princesses, which helps the audience learn about who Snow White is and also who the other princesses are. And while she's there, she encounters some pretty crazy information, and I won't reveal it, but it's pretty insane.
The king is the king in King Lear, like we previously mentioned. He kind of gets the story started by, splitting the kingdom between the three daughters that he has. And he doesn't have necessarily his own character arc in the story, but I like to think that he assists others' character arcs, because the three daughters kind of go their own ways after he splits it, and he kind of pops into all of their stories and kind of assists them and helps them out, and um, a lot of comedy moments, which I'm not a stranger to.
Yeah.
But I think that he's very useful. Like he's kind of a useful character to the plot, and I wouldn't call him a plot device. I wouldn't call him a plot device, but he's kind of sprinkled into every scene, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is?
I'm gonna pause this for a second because I'm gonna stop.
What about playing your character do you enjoy? Like, do you guys have a favorite line or anything like that?
I can take this one.
Okay.
I think that last show we did was called The Dream. It was
You think so?
I think. I know. It was The Dream. Was our winter play. It was really fun, and I played a character called Demetrius, and I really enjoyed playing him. But it was such a short show, you know, and he wasn't like a really big character, so I didn't have too much time to spend with him. But being Prince Charming, I feel like it was kind of like Demetrius round 2, but like up just like everything, like comedy and just everything. And I've been having so much fun, like trying new things and like I think learning as an actor and being with like all my friends and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What are you guys most excited about for this show?
I'm most excited to see the audience laughing in the audience because the show is comedy. It's all based on comedy. And it's such an interesting comedy, kind of like our show from 2 years ago, Puffs, where it's like it's based on comedy, but it doesn't like some of it almost like doesn't feel comedy, which is kind of hard to do the show because you have to be comedic without like, as our director always says, playing into the comedy, which is like really fun, and I think the audience will really enjoy like the balance aspect of it.
Bouncing off of what Madison said, would you say that the comedic aspect is the hardest part of putting on this show, or is there something else that makes this show in particular difficult?
I feel like comedy is honestly the easiest part because it comes to, I feel like especially for our group, it kind of comes naturally. And especially after doing The Dream, which was also comedy, it kind of just plays into like what we're doing now, and it's kind of easy to take the skills from there and move it to what we're doing. So yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I like most about doing shows and something special in this specific circumstance would be having chemistry with certain people. Like I feel like at this point in time, like I know who I'm good with and I know like who I have chemistry with, but in this play all of us are kind of an amalgamation, like we're kind of together. Like in a lot of shows you'll see that like there's this plot and they have their own scenes, but in this one they kind of all come together at certain times, like with the ball. Where that happens, you'll see that you're kind of gonna have to be forced to have at least a little chemistry with everyone, which is something that's difficult, but in my personal experience is also something that I find fun.
Yeah.
So sorry, I just want to butt in. Do you like? Because I feel like I prefer like the more like the one-on-one scenes more than the crowd scenes. Like what do you guys prefer?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite scene I ever did was Peter and the Starcatcher's final scene, where the final scene I was in, where as Black Stash, like he got his hand torn off and whatever. Besides the fact that it was obviously an iconic scene within the show, it was fun for me especially because I kind of just got to play around with every single character that was in it. Like Luca Pervan last year, he played Hawking Clam or whatever. Like I love playing like in characters with him, you know, and that show, like I never had any interactions with him, and we finally did. And obviously I had my other partner, Maya, who like obviously, you know, it was kind of like the duo. Every single show I've done with her where we had a scene together is really good. Every single time I've gotten like a big part or even like a lead, it's because I had a callback with her and then they laughed really hard. So thank you. But to that question, I prefer a lot of one-on-one interactions in a big scene.
I personally would almost disagree because I really like one-on-one scenes. I feel like it's where you can have your acting like shine and you really get to like test out like new parts of your acting and really like explore your horizons. While like if you have like a crowd scene. I feel crowd scenes, like, they're great and they're so fun, but they get so stressful because there's so many people, and it's just like a lot more limited.
Yeah,
Well, I
agree.
think they're like they both have their different ways of kind of expanding your horizons. I think one-on-one scenes are good for moment to moment and kind of really delving within a character and their interactions with, specific characters, like who they care for. I feel like crowd scenes are more of a technical thing. It's kind of hard juggling like every character, your interactions with them, how you interact with the environment, and every single character on the stage is interacting with the environment in their own way, and you kind of have to react to that in a way that your character would. And it's all these moving pieces at the same time in crowd scenes, which is why I think like on a technical level, crowd scenes would be more difficult and more stressful. But I think if you're going for more of the character nuances or the character complexities, that you would one-on-ones are really good.
Yeah. Julie, what do you think?
I agree with Madison because I feel like in one-on-one scenes you get to like really play with your acting and like really develop like your character and how they're related to the other person.
Yeah.
So then doing one-on-ones I feel like really like grow like who you are in your characters.
Yeah. So would you say one's harder than another, or?
I wouldn't say one's harder than another. I would say crowd scenes are probably like what Madison said, more stressful just because there's like, especially if you have to interact with the crowd.
Right.
Like if they're not giving you a lot back, then it's kind of hard. But like crowd scenes are also fun though. And I feel like they're
Yeah.
kind of like also fun to like for the audience to see because they're like these big like stage moments and everyone's like interacting with everybody. So
Yeah. Yeah, is like how long does it take you guys to memorize your lines? Like
Oh, no.
leading up to this stuff.
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Personally, I wait to the last moment to memorize
Yeah.
my lines. So instead of like actually spending time memorizing them, don't tell my director, but I'll memorize it either the night before or the day of.
Yeah.
And just keep going through it like all day until I get it close enough, and then after that it comes easy when
Yeah.
you rehearse it over and over.
Yeah.
I feel like the times that I have actually like worked on memorizing my lines are the times that I always forget my lines. But like with
Interesting.
this show, I feel like a lot of my lines I memorized just because we did it so many times, like the scenes, and like I kind of just like was in my head already.
Right.
And
So
sorry,
then, yeah.
how long did it take you to memorize your song? Or like, did you already have like prior knowledge to it because of your audition?
Yeah, actually, because the audition when we had to sing like like a large chunk of like the verse and chorus.
Yeah.
So I basically already had that memorized, and then I just had to memorize a few more pieces. So I feel like that actually really helped, being like in the audition already knowing like a majority of the song.
That's funny you say that. It was pretty easy to memorize the lines for the show because I agree. Like, I feel like for a lot of the shows that I do, don't look at me like that. I'm like I'll memorize them and it'll be okay, but I'll kind of have a couple of trip ups and probably call for a line a couple of times. But like, I feel like for this show, it probably was just like running it over and over again. But I really just kind of got it down immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for our two seniors that are here, what do you guys think you're gonna miss the most after this show is over? Because this is the last show of the season, obviously.
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, it's like, during the school day, you're like, kind of like, I don't want to say dreading rehearsal, but you're just kind of like, oh man, like, gotta be here for super long. But every time I'm like there, I'm always like with my friends, and I'm always like just having a good time. And theater is where, I've met like all of my closest friends, and it's definitely gonna be sad to like leave that, like, because I feel like we're just so close and like such a tight knit community, and like it's just gonna be so strange, like not going somewhere every single day for like hours on end with like your best friends and like just creating something that's like so fun or like dramatic or funny,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one reason. I met some of my best buds in theater, made some great connections. I also am just gonna like miss performing. I think that we've built a great thing. Us seniors, like, it's a big class, so having to get to know all of them, not only as people but kind of how they perform. Getting used to that was a pleasure to me, and I loved like adjusting to it as the years went on, adjusting to their performing styles, kind of,
Yeah.
you know, being malleable for them, and it's always been a pleasure. And I don't think, I mean, I'm going to try to at least pursue performing arts a little bit in college or something, do something
Yeah.
about it, because it'd be a waste, to be honest. But having like he said, like being forced in there for so long with those people, like, I know forced is a strong word, but it kind of like, we're all in this, like we're all in this together, like it's
Yeah.
a really good time.
Yeah.
All right.
So, other than seeing you guys perform one last time, why do you think that people should come and see Game of Tiaras?
I think honestly, you're just gonna have a good time. It's just funny, and I feel like a lot of times people don't come and see the performances because they don't know what it's about, or they have never heard of it, or whatever else. But I think honestly, more people should give theater a chance because it honestly is like an escape from reality. Even like performing, but even like sitting in the audience, like you kind of forget what you're doing and what worries you have because you're just focusing on where the plot's going, what's gonna happen to the characters. So I think it's a really good.
I think that the show just has an amazing cast, and everyone is just doing like they're 100% in this show. And like, if you don't know the show at all, I totally get it. But it's just like, just going to enjoy like students like having fun, and like, a lot of us, it's our last show. Like, there's a large senior population in this show, and it's like seeing them all do their last show with each other, and like even with like the juniors and the sophomores and the freshmen. It's like we're all just like we're doing it together for the last time, and it's just something special that I think audiences will really enjoy.
Yeah.
And you should come for the comedy. It's super funny. Audiences love comedy. It's great to just escape and just watch something funny and laugh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come because it's I think the show's very kind of our peanut butter and jelly, just like slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
He's laughing because we have an inside joke about peanut butter and jelly. Okay. Yes, it's like our bread and butter. We always do comedy like this with these like big franchises like Puffs, with Harry Potter, Peter and the Starcatcher, with like Peter Pan. Like, we always do stuff like this. And yeah, I think it'll be a fun time. I think it's an amalgamation of all our hard work, especially with like the huge amount of seniors, and not to discredit every other class. Like, everyone's great. Everyone's great. It's not that long. Like, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sam Frye, Dani Esho, Jillian Szesko, and Madison Grabowski. And thanks to our viewers for tuning in. Also, a thanks to our sponsor, Jet's Pizza, right over there on Rand Road. That will do it for today's episode. I'm Sophia Brill, and on behalf of George Piscalis, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode.